The 2026 World Cup final was supposed to be the best event in the 2026 World Cup, was supposed to be the event where everyone came together to watch the final match to see who would lift the trophy. But instead, we saw a horrible final, one of the most boring final games we've ever seen. It wasn't even a football match, it was more of a boxing match, and now we're hearing that some of the players might even get fines. Was this the worst World Cup final in history? Guys, it's been a couple days since the World Cup final, and we finally had time to collect our thoughts, to realize what we witnessed, and now to see the reports of some of the fines going along to some of the players in that final, because that final, honestly, was disgusting. And for such an incredible World Cup, a World Cup where we saw 48 countries, more than ever before, a historic World Cup in 3 different host countries, we saw so many different nations competing, so many different cultures. The collide between fan bases was fantastic, but all that to lead to this final, it just was not how it was supposed to end. Now, I did already make a final recap right after the final was played, where I talked about how the game went, but in today's video, I'm going to talk about more of the unrelated football stuff that went on during that final. The fights, the horrible play style from some of the players on the pitch, and what happened after the final. Guys, this is what I'm going to be talking about today, because there's a lot of talking points, and I feel like I need to go over some of these things with you guys, and I want you guys to let me know your thoughts on the final in the comments down below. Let me know. So obviously, guys, the final started off with the closing ceremony, where we saw a few performances. For me, the highlight was Speed's performance, guys, and I thought his performance was absolutely incredible. I have no problems with that, but the main problem started when the match started, guys, and we saw it from the very beginning with McAllister's crazy tackle going right through the legs. Honestly, in the first couple minutes, you could argue that Argentina probably could have had a yellow card, maybe even 2 yellow cards. But the problem is, this didn't stop throughout the game. Throughout the whole entire game, Argentina never looked like they wanted to play football. Now, coming into this game, Argentina were on a very difficult path during this World Cup. Not necessarily the teams that they were coming up against, but the way they've been performing and the way that in every single game they've played, they've had to come back. Whether it was from drawing, whether it was from being down a goal, sometimes 2 goals, like in the case against Egypt. And in every single game, yes, they did incredible to come back, but they've also had help, guys. And even if you're Argentinian, you can realize that the referees were giving a lot of calls towards Argentina. If you look at this graph on screen now, remember, this graph was only taken from the quarterfinals and before, so it didn't even have the final few games. But you look at the VAR interventions per 100 fouls, Argentina had 6.7 going their way and 0 going against them, which is more than any other team and less against them than any other team as well. So whether you agree or disagree, the calls were going for Argentina. It was evident, guys. And guys, I feel like that's part of the reason why Argentina were so aggressive in this final match. We saw so many fouls. Look at Tagliafico. He was trying to climb Lamine Yamal. I've heard some people online saying that Tagliafico did very well defending Lamine Yamal. He was literally climbing on his back like a monkey. How is Lamine Yamal supposed to do anything? And guys, the tackles that we were seeing were crazy tackles. We were seeing scissor kicks from behind. We were seeing players just completely body into other players. Obviously, the first half was very stale. Spain dominated the ball, didn't have many shots. Argentina had 0 shots, and we went into halftime. Now, guys, I need to talk a little bit about the halftime show, because this was the first World Cup where we would have a American football NBA style halftime show where we will be having performances. We saw Madonna perform, we saw Justin Bieber, we saw some kids sing a few songs, and to be honest, it was kind of shit. But guys, moving on from the halftime show, we get into the second half, and once again, the second half was more of what we saw in the first half. Argentina had none of the ball, Spain had 75%, Argentina didn't even have a single shot for 90 minutes. That's how one-sided this final was, guys. And if you look at finals throughout history, what you want to see, even if it's a 0-0 scoreline, you want to see competitiveness. You want to see both teams playing proper football. You want to see both teams having a fair share of possession, and both teams, even if there's no goals, having a decent amount of shots. But you saw one team completely dominating while the other team sat back. They defended very aggressively, And to be honest, it didn't even seem like they came out to play football. Then we see yet another yellow card for Argentina, and this one was from Enzo Fernandez. Now at this point, we've already seen multiple yellow cards for the likes of Lisandro Martinez and also Paredes, who, by the way, I think should have been sent off. But you see a yellow card to Enzo Fernandez for getting mad at a foul. He throws his hands up in the air at the referee, and the referee gives him a yellow card. Stupid yellow card, and that would come to bite him in the ass. Then guys, we get on to the added time in the first half, and Enzo Fernandez goes into a crazy challenge on Kubarasi. He literally does a full 360 flip, and Enzo Fernandez gets another yellow card. He's protesting for some reason. I don't know how he's protesting that. That is 100% a second yellow, and he deserves to be sent off. But what a lot of people miss, guys, is if you look at this video down on the other side of the field, the second the foul happens, Tagliafico goes down pretending that he has an injury. Bro, this is what Argentina were doing for the whole tournament. I wouldn't even consider this dark arts. I would just consider this being an absolute scumbag. Like, ain't no way you're going down pretending to have an injury to try and divert the attention to yourself to try and prevent your player from being sent off. It's just crazy. Like, no one saw that. But it's crazy. But nonetheless, it stays 0-0. But then finally, in the second half of extra time, Spain get a goal. Pedro Porro with a great cross into Nico Williams. He heads it back for Ferran Torres, and it is a beautiful volley into the top of the net by Ferran Torres. Everyone is happy. Spanish fans, general football fans, Italians, French, everyone's happy except Argentinians, because guys, we wanted to see the team that was playing proper football win. Spain deserved it for the whole entire game. The first shot by Argentina came after almost 120 minutes. You're telling me you go 2 hours without even having a single shot? It's embarrassing. But guys, then we get into the events that happen after the whistle. And to be honest, this may be one of the worst parts of the final, because you saw Spain celebrate, as they should. They just won the World Cup final. They 100% deserved it. And the players run on the pitch to celebrate. And then you see Nahuel Molina, bro, I hate this guy. He decides to punch Rodri in the stomach while he's running to celebrate with his team. Rodri turns around, he goes back to him, they face up against each other. Then you see Leandro Paredes come in swinging at one player, swinging at another player. He sees Gavi, and all he sees is red. He takes Gavi, throws him on the ground, starts scratching him in the face and the eye, starts punching him. He starts choking out Gavi. I'm like, what is this guy doing? The game is done. You won the World Cup in 2022. Spain won it today, deservingly. The game is done. Relax yourself. Control yourself like a proper footballer. Acknowledge the fact that Spain won. Clap them on and move on with your life. No, they want to go crazy. They want to start punching players. They want to get into a brawl. It's honestly the most disgraceful end to a game I've ever seen in my life. And it's made so many football fans around the world absolutely hate the country of Argentina and hate the players. I don't have any hate towards Argentina. I don't have any hate towards any country. And I don't have a hatred towards the Argentinian national team. Who do I hate? I hate Enzo Fernandez. I hate Leandro Paredes. I'm not a big fan of McAllister, and I'm not a big fan of some of the other players either. And now guys, after the World Cup final, FIFA has said publicly that they are opening an investigation to the fights that happened after the World Cup, including the actions of players like Molina and Paredes, because what they did honestly is absolutely tragic. It's disgraceful behavior, no sportsmanship whatsoever. And it's not only them, it's with many other of these Argentinian players in the starting 11. And that's why so many people are against this team at the moment. But guys, at the end of the day, I do think that football won. Spain came to play football. Did they play entertaining football? No. Spain did what they do. They hold possession. They're going to kill you. They're going to pass it around the back from side to side to side to side, try and find an opening, thread a nice through ball, and try and score. That's partly what made it a boring final. But the other reason why it was so boring was because one of the teams didn't even come to play football. They were defending for the whole game. And whenever they had the chance, they would always take that extra step. They would always go into an extra hard foul. They would always go into a little elbow here and there. It's absolutely disgraceful. But guys, if you agree with my opinion, let me know in the comments down below. But if you disagree and you thought that this was actually a very entertaining match and you heavily enjoyed the final, remember to leave your opinion down below and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.